friend Steve and I, we had been listening to Eurobeat for like a really long time, and we were like, one day we're like, dude, let's make our own Eurobeat. And I was like, are you serious, dude? I'm like, I like the idea, but I'm like, I can't sing, and I'm terrible with musical instruments. And he's like, no, 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 man, let's do it. I was like, no, I was like, yeah, let's try it out. I was like, but first, we gotta come up with like song names and names for ourselves and um, just stuff like that, and we were like, all right, well, I guess I'll just go with you know Nelson, and he was like, I was like, what are you gonna go with, like Steve or something? And he's like, no, he's like, I have a better idea. He's like, what is it, Sean Penn, the guy who does like, you know, a lot of the Eurobeat. Well, he goes by a lot of different aliases, and he goes by Mike Rogers and like several other names, which I unfortunately don't remember right now. But Steve was like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go with like tons of different names. I was like, all right, well, we're gonna have to like come up with a an album name or something, and like song names. And he's like, you know what? He's like, our first album is gonna be called Greatest Hits, Volume 1. I was like, Greatest Hits? I was like, dude, we don't even have any songs ready. He's like, no, 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 no. He's like, they will be. He's like, they will be the greatest hits because we're gonna give people exactly what they want. Not, maybe one or two songs that they're pretty good and like the rest of the album is crap. He's like, no, every single song, all like 15 of them, greatest hits. I was like, yeah, but people are gonna like start searching for like other albums that we have out there. And he's like, that's fine. He's like, let 'em. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I love it. I was like, there's nothing about this I don't love. So I was like, all right, well, let's come up with some song names. And we were just, I was like, song names and, whatever name you want to use. So he's like, all right. So we started coming up with a couple song names, and a few of them were like, Flame of Desire by Johnny Turbo and Nelson. Jump into the Fire of Desire by Alex Nitro and Nelson. Speedway into My Heart by Steve Turbo Diesel Belanger and Nelson. Racing into the Fire of Your Heart by Low Energy Kid and Nelson. Die in a Fire of Desire by the powerful Nitromethane Engine and Nelson. Lustful Drifting by 9000 RPM Ralph and Nelson. The Way Into Your Heart by, you know what, man, I'm actually running out of crazy like Eurobeat sounding names, and Nelson. Kind of Decently Known in Japan by High Rev Eddie and Nelson. If you speed in the backwoods of desire and you crash into a tree, the trees are the ones that do the justice by Nelson and Nelson. Melody of My Desire by Reaperman and Nelson. We Didn't Start the Fire. Actually, no, We Did Start the Fire by Johnny John Johnson and Nelson. So, yeah, I mean, those are like some of the song names and like, artist names that we had going. But, we, Steve and I, like I said, we don't really have much musical talent, so we were just kind of like, it was just an idea we had. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but I mean, that was, back in like 2006, so it hasn't happened yet. But it might. So anyways, you guys might be thinking like, dude, your name's like Nelson, what? Why are you calling yourself Nelson? I was like, that's not your name. Well, you'd be half right. See, the thing is, my parents, they speak Spanish, so my name in Spanish is Nelson Rocha. So, yeah, if you want to make it sound like, more Spanish sounding, you kind of put an E at the end, it's like Nelson. So, I mean, it just kind of works, and it sounds exotic. You might be thinking, like, exotic? What the hell are you going on about? Well, here's the thing. Steve, one day was like, hey man, let's go to the junkyard, you know, like just get some car parts. And I was like, oh hell yeah, dude, let's do this. And the thing is, like, when you think about it, like, for car guys, going to a junkyard is like, you know, when some girls get like really excited when they go to the mall. You know, you go into a junkyard or you know, the girls at the mall, and they're like, oh my god, look at this, look at that, holy crap, like this is in such good condition, check out these fenders, or oh my god, I've been looking for this motor. Like, you know, we get excited, you know, just it's just the way it is. So Steve comes to pick me up, and when we get into the, or rather when I get into his car and we start driving, he's like, hey man, he's like, I don't know if you ate breakfast or not. And you know, he's like, but you know, I got some blueberry bagels here if you want one. I was like, nah man, I was like, thanks man, I was like, I really appreciate it. I was like, but I actually just ate. And I guess he didn't really like, or rather he was just like curious as to what I had eaten, you know. And I was like, well, I was like, my mom happened to be up and she made me some breakfast. It was just like, you know, some fried potato slices with like green salsa and just, you know, some mango juice. He's like, what? Mango juice? He's like, dude, that's so exotic. And it's, I've been calling it the exotic breakfast ever since. He's like, Nelson, you are exotic. I was like, you know what? You're right. I am. I am exotic. I need an exotic sounding name. So we went with Nelson after this guy that I kind of used to know that would show up at our house randomly to drink with us. His name's Breton. And one day I was just like, Breton! And he's just like, Nelson! I was like, I love it. I was like, sounds just like my name in Spanish. It isn't, but I like it. So yeah, I've been using the name Nelson ever since. So the thing is, like, you know, you guys might be wondering, like, yeah, you know, whatever became of that, like, you know, that Eurobeat, like, you know, dream of yours. And the thing is, like, no one really knows what became of those two guys. Some say that Steve ended up working for like the MBTA, you know, in Boston for the subway system, and Nelson ended up moving to like North Carolina or something. Some people say that you know, they ended up, you know, just parting their own ways, never to see each other again. Others say that, you know, he Steve is running his own mechanic shop, and Nelson is making YouTube videos while working in a jeans warehouse. Others say that they actually did follow their Eurobeat dream, and they are now huge both in Italy and Japan. They've started the Eurobeat Revolution 2, which, if you've never heard of the Eurobeat Revolution 1, it's back in the 90s. Eurobeat was a big deal. It was like, it just was. Like, I shouldn't have to give you explanations, but I realize that, you know, you probably don't realize it. The Eurobeat revolution started around the late 90s when all these car manufacturers were creating what they called the 90s dream cars, which, you know, obviously included the RX-7, the Toyota Supra, the Nissan Skyline, the Nissan Silvia, the Nissan Fairlady, the Toyota Celica, you know, all these, the Honda NSX, you know, all these, you know, relics now, which were just beautiful back in the day. And that, you know, when they imported those cars, or rather exported from Japan those cars to Italy, people became inspired. And there's one particular section of Italy, they started creating this music called Eurobeat, sending their inspiration back to Japan. It was a huge success, and they developed a dance for it called Para Para, and it was huge back in the 90s. Then it kind of died off, but then Steve and Nelson, they started living the dream. They became Eurobeat artists, Thus, the Eurobeat revolution too has been going on for the last decade. Of course, that's not what happened. Not at all. Because like I said, we have no musical talent whatsoever. But it's what I choose to believe. It's what I hold dear in my heart.